Hi everyone, I'm Aliya and this is Kelly from Women Who Lead and Sell. We have a tremendous episode for you today with the wonderful Kali Kolonacki, who is a genius around YouTube. She tells us all things YouTube, but interestingly, although we talk about that a lot, we also touch on how to be true to yourself in any kind of social media setting, really.
So if you loved the episode, and we know you're going to, about being true to yourself and just really zoning on your genius, stay tuned, be a part of the community, DM us, tell us what you want to hear. And remember, we're on a really important mission at Women Who Lead and Sell. We're creating 1,000 women to go to their 7-figure milestone in the next 3 years. So please do get involved with the community.
Kally, thank you so much for joining us. You are what I perceive to be an expert on a number of things, but let's group it under YouTube. That's the one that's where I see you a lot. If you could redesign the way B2B founders approach content at the moment, what would you change and why?
Thank you for having me, first of all. So what I would change is something that's completely unorthodox of what is going on for years, is that I won't tell people to put more videos, to just post more, to just, have the quantity part. But I will tell them that you have to be very specific, like laser targeted on who your ideal customers are and really speak to them. Because I have seen that with great creators who have been successful in the last few years, I will give examples later, they have really laser targeted on their ideal client. And this creates a community, this creates a movement, this creates anything that is basically what people would say a cult-like audience, but in a good way. Because people are really improving their lives through this creator, especially in the niche of edutainment, which is the education plus entertainment. So, especially in that part, we don't just want more videos, or we have to respect the time that our viewers spend on their on the videos, because okay, they're free, but they could choose 100 or million other things to do, or to skip the video, or to not watch the whole video. So we have to make it really worth their time. And I'm not talking about the value part, but it's much deeper than what people say, just give value. No, give insights strategically, and then the rest of the insights will be the funnel that people can monetize with the offerings that each person, creator, or entrepreneur has. It's more about forget about quantity, but get really granular, really specific on your ideal client. So I think that's the biggest thing that I would change.
When you see people doing that and doing that well, what's noticeable about them, and how do they do it? Let's dig into this a little bit more. How do I do that? Where do I start? Where would you start?
It depends on where to start, because it also depends on how much, what's the size of the audience of the creator, and what have they collected from their market research. And I'm not talking about AI and ChatGPT. No. I'm talking about, it's more about the positioning and what's my competitive advantage, like which people am I really helping, what are the outcomes that they are getting by me putting the videos, like how am I making their life better, but in precise ways. And like, why should people tune in to me, especially in times when, personal finance, for example, or self-help, or mental health, like niches. People could say they are kind of saturated, like there's too much competition. So you have to stand out in a way. And I have a really concrete example of that. If you have seen, her name is Tam Kaur.
Mm-hmm.
And she's in the self-help niche. more like self-improvement actually. And currently she has, I remember, 1.5 million subscribers plus, maybe 1.7 I think currently. And she started YouTube 2-3 years ago, like not too long ago. And she has documented her journey, and she started from zero, I think 2k subscribers. She was stuck at that, and then in 1 year she managed to go to 100k, and then the growth was like exponential from 100k to 1 million again, I think in 1 year, maybe less. But the example, like if you see her videos, and we can link that later in the description or in the comments, the niche that she has been in, she could have said, I have to, like, my niche is too saturated for me to stand out. Because literally, if you type in the exact topics that she talks about, you can find at least 20 videos that speak to the same thing. But she has really find her own lane, and double down on that. And like, I was really intrigued when I saw her. I remember I saw her channel at 300,000 subscribers, and I was like, okay, what is she doing well? Because she had already videos that were above 100k views, and I was like, okay, this is not accidental. I can see that she really cares about the quality of the videos and about her viewers. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna study her and see what she's doing really well. And later on, I found that she was assisted with some influencer agency, something like that, after some point. But I really imagine the thousands of hours that went before that, like when she did the jump from 2k to 100k subscribers. I can only imagine the thousands of hours she poured into this to have this exact result. Like, this is hard work. This is hard work. And people don't want to say that because it's not sexy. It's not marketable to say that you have to put work, especially if you are doing it on your own. But even with someone guiding you, you will still have to put in the work. Like, it's not something easy breezy and yeah, we can just manifest it and just make it happen. You can make it easier, of course, over time, because you will build systems on that. But yeah, that's also another myth that I want to dispel right from the start.
But you can work smartly, though. I mean, what you do is you take these successful videos and you dissect them. You go, well, that's good, and he's done that and that. What was it about this person in particular? What did you start to notice that she was doing particularly well? And you thought, oh, yeah, well, I can see why that went viral.
Oh, number one, she created her own movement inside this very saturated niche. Like, she says how to become self-obsessed. Like, it's another form of saying self-love and self-care, but in a way that really honors the girl that is watching her. This, for example, like, it has a ripple effect. Like, I have seen in her comments hundreds of comments, and the girls, they're saying every time in every video, they're like, oh my god, the timing is divine, wake up, mother uploaded. You know the thing, it's like the internet lingo of especially, like, she has the big sister energy with her audience, because she's like in mid-20s, I think 25 now. And because she has been through difficult, times in her life, challenging, she was where her viewers are in the past, and she found ways to improve her life and to come on the other side. And now she's teaching people who are probably younger than her and how to, overcome these challenges. And she is really in tuning, like, I'm sure that I think she hasn't said that publicly, but of course she has researched anything that her viewers like are searching on Reddit, or the pains that we have at like 2 a.m. At midnight, and we're like, why is this not working? Like, why do I get in situationships or whatever? Because I'm talking about that due to her audience and the stuff that she talks about. And so she has been really specific with the problems that they are going through. She also doesn't just give theory. So she has, especially all her videos are like divided in parts, especially on her main channel, because she has a second channel with like vlogging and influencer style, and that I'm gonna say that a little bit later, that she plays on the ideal girl, the golden girl image, on a good way, for her viewers, again, for her audience. But she has gotten really specific, and she's like, okay, other people are just talking fluff and theory, but I'm gonna give my viewers every time to make each video worth their time, to give them actionable steps on, hey, I know that you have heard that, hey, you should journal, you should meditate, you should wake up at 5 a.m. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. You can still have a structure, you can still have your routine based on XYZ, and like based on your own rhythm, and and still make it work. And how can you make it actionable to stick, especially if it's a new habit, for example? Like, she has gotten especially into the actionable part. Like, I'm not just telling you guys the theory, the fluff, the whatever else you will find on the internet. I will give you the action steps that you can take today to improve your life. And I think that's one of the parts that gets really specific. It's like, okay, guys, I am guiding you step by step in this video. We will say, okay, you're going through this. Why is this happening? As a second, to get a real understanding of why people are in these situations, why they get caught up in these situations. And I also like her tone, because she's not on the fluffy side. Like, she's not all rainbows and unicorns and, but she's not also strict, very strict. So she knows how to balance the giving advice in a way that is like honest, like brutal, raw, without being rude, without being, I think she kind of balances the compassion part in a good way, that is not cheesy, that is not cringy. Like, I also like the way that she does it. Like, she calls things out. She's like, no, this has to stop. Like, why do we get in XYZ situation? And I understand you, because I was there. I have been through XYZ. Like, I understand, and I can tell you why this happens, because I researched on the psychology of this, on why do we get in XYZ situations, and afterwards, like, what you can do about it. And like, she has also written a book of her own, and she has also, I think she has also a journal on that. Like, she has gotten specific with her audience. She's like, I'm gonna give you guys and girls the tools, girls actually, her main audience, but I'm gonna give you the tools to really change your life. Start with small ways, and then you can get it in change your life in bigger ways. And she has her YouTube bio, if you see, she says that I am helping girlies bridge the gap between their current self and their ideal self. Brilliant. Very clear, very, like, the girl who sees that, she's like, she gets me. Like, that's what I'm going to do. It's like people who are not just helpless, you know what I mean? They have ambition, they have goals, they are driven, they want to be hot, smart, beautiful, achieving, driven. Like, there are girls who want to do stuff, and they are highly driven as her. And she's like, she embodies them being multi-dimensional as a person. And like, she says about how can you take care of yourself inside out, and how can you take steps to move really towards your goals and your big dreams. Like, she has said about in some videos of like buying her first luxury designer bag, or going in the first trip alone into other countries of Europe. She's like, no, you can solo travel and you can have a hell of a time doing that. And especially because you're a woman, like, you don't have to be fearful of that. You can enjoy it. And like, she sets a really good example of a lifestyle, actually, that her audience wants to create for themselves. there's a lot to talk about here. Like she's really good at what she does.
I love what you've painted there,
So
Kally.
good.
I don't know about you, but what I'm doing is I'm listening. I'm thinking to myself, right, who are our people who we are slightly a couple of steps ahead of, that we can, almost like if we were family having dinner, we'd go, listen, I'm slightly ahead of you. I know this. And just giving the real stuff. It sounds like that's what she's delivering. Like she's not massively ahead of them. And I do wonder whether some of the attraction is they're so relatable because they're not miles away. Like you get the big guys on there of like, I've done this, and the Tony Robbins, and that's all amazing, right? But that can seem so unattainable that you're like, yeah, that's okay, but the motivation wears off. But if you're looking at someone who's only a couple of steps ahead and look, I'm here, I'm treading the path for you, I can see that being incredibly, incredibly inspiring, but also practical, like you say.
Yeah, definitely.
You talk a lot, actually, Kally, about, you said this really beautiful thing. You said that stories that move people aren't always the ones you plan, they're the ones you live. And you also talk about learn how to milk your unremarkable life for content, because it's almost like she's making the unremarkable remarkable, like buying a designer bag. What's the big deal there, right? But there's a whole world to that. There's a world of self-esteem, confidence. Do I have the right to even go in that shop? You know, there's a whole world behind that for women. And what she's saying is, and doing is, don't do as I say, but here's what I have done. I'm walking the walk. And anybody can apply this. Really, I mean, I don't know about you. I know you're
absolutely.
Like
I'm
well up for right. I'm out there.
Yeah. When you were speaking, Kally, I could picture the woman, and I don't know who it is, and I will look it up on your recommendation. But noticing that her journey was doing that for so many thousand people, hundreds of thousands, millions. And then you are mapping and tracking. So her intelligence, her innate, like new movements in the world to do things differently, to add value to people's lives. And then you're tracking that. And then you're sharing that. Like, that's what I was just, like you said about the multidimensional nature, the sharing, the collaborative, like it's infinite, isn't it? We're literally like optimizing the potential of humanity just by mapping and tracking all these things. And you know, I mean, just by how you were speaking and your energy was just like, I can see you've literally just been like studying and then applying, which I mean, like it's the doer's way, right? It is literally, that's what we want for people to know that it's attainable and these are the steps, and it is work. It is work and it's all on you. Take it, absorb it and apply it, and then keep refining. So I just loved how you painted that picture. It was so clear. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think also, Kally, there's so much noise online. And I often, when I'm trying to explain to clients, that's not working for you, it's very hard to talk to them about it in digital context. Often what I do is I use a lot of analogies, and when I'm talking to people, and I'll bring them back to, okay, if this was real life, if that was a shop, right, would you say that? Would you confuse people with 15 signs the moment before they even get in the shop? Would you do that? When you start to bring people back into the analog, into real life, they suddenly see stuff. But it is so, what you're doing is you're going, find your lane, set up some blinkers either side and forget everything else and focus on what you're doing, your journey, because there will be people out there that want to hear about it. And if you're selling something and you're developing it, that's all part of the story. Yeah, I just love that. And you do this across a lot of videos. I've seen your videos popping up and you go, and you're so practical. Tell us some more about your approaches. I know you've got one, like you've got 3 steps, like do this first. Tell us some more about that. I want to hear more.
And by the way, I love that with how you remarked what she's doing. Like, you know, she's relatable, but she's not very far ahead. Like, that was also one of the things that I had, you know, noticed while I was studying here. Like, that's one of the, let's say, the sub categories of why she stands out. Like, she has played this very intelligently. So what I do with people is that, first of all, we get clear on their positioning and how they can speak their authority through their videos. Again, this really depends on the person. Like, I have to talk with someone and get to know someone to see that. For some people, you mentioned about my energy, we can also talk about that. I have an energy mentor, and energy
like
in the right way in my life, it has changed my life, and it's not woo woo. It's more scientific that people believe. But anyway, so for example, I have discussed this with my energy mentor, and she told me your energy shines through videos. Like, you should go on your own YouTube. Like, you should be more into video content. And I told her, but I still like writing still, and I started as a YouTube script writer, so I still like parts of the writing to do it myself. Although now that the more that I'm scaling, I'm like, okay, I have found certain people that are professionals, even ghostwriters, and and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna delegate that, and I plan to do that through this year. And it's like, I don't want to spend more time and energy on that, even though I like it. But I have to be even more specific on my authority on creating the videos, because I do the strategy, I do the brainstorming, I do other stuff that require much of my time and energy. So I'm like, okay, anything else that I can delegate. I have started to really hire people and get into this mindset.
Yes.
Like, I have on my team thumbnail designer, I have a video editor, and I'm like, yeah, we are gonna, like, that's what I'm growing with my agency. Find your lane, find your the thing that not just lights me up, but what's like my own lane. Like, my lane is in the strategy, in the brainstorming, and what I said, like the positioning. Like, someone, for example, I said about the videos, someone can be more into writing and show their authority through writing, and maybe for these people videos aren't the best. Or if they really want to get into video, they can try, and we can practice that into how do you get into camera, how do you get into your own energy of feeling, not just the confidence, the conviction behind what you are saying.
Yeah.
And I know so many passionate people about what they're doing, especially entrepreneurs. But and especially women, we get into so many like afterthoughts and doubts, and oh, what people are gonna say about me, how is this gonna seem, and oh, I am afraid about XYZ might in my circle who might judge me and criticize me. And like, when they say about breaking the glass ceiling, as I was working more and more with women, and I got into women's circles in different parts, either for self-help, either for my business, and I was like, okay, I start to see parts that they don't show in their social media, because I think that I know it's controversial given what I do, but we put such a veneer on social media with like just the highlights, and people just crave the real stuff.
Yeah.
Not vulnerability for the sake of vulnerability. We can talk about that. Like, don't just be raw just to be raw. Like, if being raw and brutally honest is your thing, and you have your energy, you pour your energy into that, okay, go do that. But of course, respect people, and but some other people are more into, they can be more reflective, or they need more time, or like they need different approaches. Like, I'm not saying one size fits everyone.
Yeah.
But for sure there are certain stages. Like, that's the stage one, like the positioning. What's the messaging that people, the authority, like how does this tie into how they present to their audience? Because it's like their audience has to see the insights that they offer, and they have to be, when they're watching the videos, they're like, okay, I'm not going anywhere else because I like this creator, this entrepreneur for XYZ. It resonates a lot with me, and it's like, I'm not gonna go and find the hundreds of others of voices around, but just listen to that one person because he has done what I want to do, and now is on the other side and giving the insights to the younger generation or more inexperienced and stuff like that. So that's the first part. And then the second is about the signature video design. On, again, this is more on the style and the format of the videos. Like some people are gonna be like in the talking head, the more like explainer or more like lists. Some people also, and that's also my lane of having a whiteboard and explaining stuff. Like my energy can go really well into that type of video. Some people are good on this type of videos. Some people are more like into the talking head of knowing what they're gonna say, of having a clear script word by word. Others can improvise a bit and just have a little fun and be more, not word by word, but we can improvise a little bit in the video. And this improvisation, again, I have seen that in another creator. And it doesn't hurt the video if the creator, if the person has the way and the conviction to go a little bit off the road of the video and go like into more casual tone. And this like relaxes the audience. And especially, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit of a really inside secret, that when you have your audience relax, and especially you can easily do that with like humor of any kind, and they are laughing, and anyone, any human, when they laugh, they are relaxed and they are not into fight or flight in order to laugh. So right afterwards, you can put the message that you want to say to them. And that's what I'm saying with this joke, and that's the message that you should really focus on, for example. And they are really receptive. People are really receptive, especially in that part. And I had the university professor tell us that, hey, in the theater in ancient times, people like, especially Greek people with comedy, where this was originated, they knew that you have to relax the audience and then give your message right after. And that's why the punchlines work. That's why in the stand-up comedy world, that's why it really works well. They are relaxed, and boom, you give them the message, and you raise a little bit the tension again, and you relieve the tension, and you raise the tension, and you relieve the tension, and it goes on and on until the end of the video. So that's the second part of like what style of videos should someone make. Others, I would say, they are more like into the vlogging type of videos, which again, they are not always scripted. They can go a little bit off road, or they like to show how their life works on the inside, like a day in life with me. Tam also does that, but in more like in her second channel. And in the first channel, she's like in the talking head. But again, she has many reasons that she has broken that classic talking head style of explainer video. And like, you have to find what works best for the creator, not just what I am saying she should do. Like, what do you enjoy? What type of videos do you enjoy doing? Like, that's the second. And we lock in one style, and it's like, if we see that with the metrics, and with the metric that we study in the YouTube Studio Analytics, if we see that, okay, people are receptive to that, with the engagement, with the watching time, with also people inquiring you for, hey, can I work with you on XYZ? So we track these things, and then it's like, okay, we are keeping what works best, the outliers, the high performers, and we double down on that. Like, you don't just experiment all the time. You're like finding the one thing that really works, and again, going into with the blinders mode of like, keep doing that. And so that's the second part. And then the last is building a system out of that. So once we have found all the creative and practical, the business side of the channel, then you can go, okay, I found how I'm communicating my authority to people through the videos. I found the style of the videos that I want. Now let's put a system into the whole production, from the pre-production, the production, the post-production, just like you do with the podcast. You have to do certain things before, you have to do certain things in the recording, you have to do certain stuff after the recording until you see the end video. So this is, I would say, it has some similar parts. And it's also like with movies. That's what I can say to people so that they can really see it in a more simple way. Like, it's a movie. We are making short movies that we don't just want to entertain, especially in the creators that I'm working with and that I'm seeing. We have to make short movies that move people and that make people so pulled into our world, into our cosmos, and they are like, okay, I'm gonna buy from you. I'm gonna pull out my wallet for this creator because they made me feel seen, heard, and understood.
Wow.
Oh, I love that. That is so cool
much,
because
much.
you do talk a lot about, you actually, on one of your posts, you said, look, before you even get into the content, before you even get into what it is, this, you actually asked a few questions. And one of those questions, interestingly, was, I think it was something around money. It was about, do you want to make some money and how much? Why do you think that's an important conversation to have before you even post any content?
Because I have seen it from myself firsthand. So again, this goes back into working with my energy mentor, that we have, especially when we are entrepreneurs selling things online, our products, our offers, our services, we have to be okay with making more money, with wanting to make more money, with wanting to sell. And so I see so many people who can be super talented, who can be super knowledgeable, but they have some limiting beliefs and scarcity, and they feel uncomfortable selling for lots of different reasons. And they have, I would say, like mini traumas from other people who sold to them aggressively or over the phone or, door to door. And they had bad experiences from that. So, or from their family, like when they were growing up, they weren't in the abundance situation with their parents, or from the school, from their first, what they are really have ingrained in their mind about making money, being wealthy, being rich. Like, why are some people wealthy? Why are some people rich? They are not different from us. They are not evil people. We have to dispel all these beliefs and really work with them. And especially, okay, this is not my specialty. Like, I can even pinpoint people to my energy mentor, because you really have to get, if your biggest issue in your blocks are around money and around selling, you have to really work through that, to heal that and to integrate that, so that you can make more sales, make more money, and get to the next level. Because if you don't, you will get stuck in a plateau, or maybe it can even get worse. So it's really important, and people are not talking much about this. They're just like, oh, okay, that's why the video didn't perform, or that's why the video didn't sell. But have you stopped to ask, maybe the creator doesn't feel good about selling? Maybe they think that, oh, if I sell, I am scamming people, or I am pushing my product too much, I'm selling too much. No, you have to do it in a way that your audience is receptive to. That's a whole different story. But if you do it the right way and you have really targeted on your audience, people will thank you for it, because many times people are not just gonna raise their hand magically on saying, yeah, I want in your programs. It doesn't matter, I haven't seen your ads, I haven't seen you promoting your products or services. I'm just in because I saw your videos. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. So we have to work through these beliefs a lot. And it's not overnight. It's not as easy as the manifesting world wants.
You make it sound really exciting. You make it sound exciting, Kali, and very very practical, but also like you need to do it. Like, come on, like if you're going to put yourself out there and your work, like you've got to get to grips with that stuff that's in the background, the limiting beliefs. Love the way you explain things. It's so cool.
Yes, I'm intrigued about this concept of the energy mentor, and you talk a lot about NLP. I know you have an interest in that, and pacing. Tell us a bit about that. What's that? What are you talking about there in terms of these videos? Because some of them are very, very short. What are you saying?
So future pacing, it's a technique that's originally used in NLP. And the way that I learned about it, I was like, okay, I needed it for my own purposes again, for my own selfish reasons. So basically, in simple terms, it's like you are painting a picture, and you referred to that earlier with painting pictures with analogies, but you are really granular, really specific with painting a future image of how the life of your audience is going to look like. That's what I've said a little bit earlier about what Tam does with her audience. She's like, okay, now I'm starting to live my dream life. And you said about making the unremarkable remarkable. Like, she's romanticizing getting your matcha latte, going to the gym, and going to your favorite bookstore, or sitting in a cute cafe. And at first I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, this is not cringy. I like the way that she romanticizes that. Not even just in the big things of like the luxury bag of the, but also in the how to romanticize the unremarkable, so that you can start enjoying the life that you have right now, and build that until your income is higher, your business also goes well, you have more sales, blah blah blah. But start with these things and start to paint the picture. Like, and by the way, I think that people should not fake the future image, and that they should walk their talk. Like, they should have been on the other side of, now I'm living this life, and you see maybe me going on trips around the world, or like working at any time I want in my business, of having the freedom of how does the freedom look like in my day. Like practical things. But also sometimes it's more into, I trust my audience is intelligent to see that, okay, I'm not telling them explicitly that my trip to Paris is future pacing them, but I want them to get inspired and to start to do the actions that move them also towards that same trip in Paris. And the timeline doesn't matter. That's the thing. Like, people are not saying, that's how you do your trip to Paris, or your extravagant dreams in 1 year or something, but they paint the desire into their audience, and their audience is like, okay, so if I want this life, what do I have to do with myself, with my work, with my inner work, with my business, with my money? What do I have to do to get to this level? So she also covers the part of how do you improve yourself practically, and this is the outcome that I have with my life right now. And again, it's not very far from where you are. So also that's the relatable part, not too far away. She has done significant things for her age, but again, it's not too far. It's not, I have my 10, 20, $100 million exit. This is not the extreme. So she can still connect with her audience. Yes. Again, it's not very far. It's in a really good level that is inspiring and guiding. So it's all about how do you paint the picture to your audience.
Getting attention, like, very quickly. Like, we're all bombarded with stuff. Kally, there's so much noise out there. So I can see why people want to find a safe haven of, I'm just going to go there. You actually said, I think, you said, I've shut off all my social media. I'm only on YouTube and LinkedIn and Substack, and that's it. I've cleared, you are actually walking the walk. You have put in those blinkers. But tell me a little bit about, what can we do once we get people in the right lane? How do we get their attention with authenticity? Because you hear authenticity bandied around, and with velocity. What are your views on that?
So again, I will bring an example of another person that I got to work with. Shout out to my therapist. She's an attachment expert, and she helps especially women get over their father wound and mother wound. And I learned about her through another podcast that she was a guest on. but I went on to see her Instagram and I went on to see her videos, and she got me scrolling through the videos. And in each video I was like, oh my god, I see a short text. It's a short video, and then she goes into the description, going into more details, and sometimes maybe in a top comment, to even compliment, giving the insights. And I'm like, after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos, I'm like, oh my god. In every video I see, she speaks so much. She understands me into the situation of how it originated and why, and how does this manifest in your other life. And I have seen that also in other creators. And I'm like, these people, again, they have found what their audience goes through, the challenges that they go through, and they also talk to their audience in a way that mirrors what's going on inside their head, the internal dialogue that their audience has. And that's an art of itself. That, again, it's not overnight, but you have to, if you do it well and you find it, you're like, double down into that, put the blinders, and start when your audience, like in the comments that they leave, or in the questions, everything in the DMs, everything that they ask you, find everything in the Reddit questions. Like, there are so many avenues. Find how exactly they are framing their challenges, their issues, their goals, their desires. And I watched another video again from another creator yesterday, and she said how to fund your extravagant addiction with matcha latte. Something like that was the title. And yeah, and she's not even an influencer. She's a marketer, and she attracts especially female entrepreneurs who want to be free in their business. But she started as a freelancer, but she completely shifted the how do we perceive the freelancing world of being self-employed. So again, it's like, I'm like, I saw the title and was like, okay, let's see what the video is about. And I watched the video, and I commented on here and was like, I have not skipped a single second in this video. It wasn't very long. I think it was like 10 minutes, 13 maybe. But I didn't skip a second. I didn't want to skip a second. Again, on the energy, on how she framed it, on she started with the matcha, again, the romanticizing part. But it was practical, and she gave into, okay, you want this, to order it every day without looking at the bill or whatever. Again, desire, future pacing. And I started with that, like, that's the starting point. And then how do I get to tell people what they need to hear? I give them what they want first. Again, my therapist has said that give people what they want first, and then in a way, in a packaging, nice packaging, because anyone that says that packaging doesn't matter, you have been ignorant to how marketing works on you. And tell me if you have an iPhone or something. So all these decisions that we make, like, have a nice packaging. And this is dependent on each creator differently. How is the nice packaging on the videos, on the titles, on the YouTube, the channel banner, everything that you do? It has to have an aesthetic, I would say. It has to have not just the brand colors and stuff. You have to be really specific on how does my audience like. For example, if I did a drink with nootropics, and again, this is also from another example that I have with New Tonic, from Chris Williamson and James White, his last name. So they have a nootropic drink, and they went with bright colors like orange, bright neon green, white, yellow, stuff like that. And I was like, okay. And they have a really nice packaging with the cans. And I'm like, they saw, like, what are the energy drinks, like what they are doing, but they are still different in their own way. And because they want to give energy to the people, and the color, the packaging, everything, it helps, and it aids to the selling process and how the customer feels when they consume that, when they buy that again and again, and they enjoy the experience. So the packaging is experience. How do you package the whole experience from your videos to your audience? Make it enjoyable.
I'm just listening to what you're saying, and we're very lucky that we have somebody doing our branding, our imagery, happens to be my brother actually, who understands branding, but because he knows me really well and has worked with females all his career, really gets us. It didn't take us long to brief him. And you can tell when branding is good because you go, oh, or you have an emotion immediately. And I've noticed that. And I hadn't really thought about it, Kally, in terms of our YouTube, because that's done by the production company. But I will be paying a bit of attention to it now. Like, what's the aesthetic for us as a podcast, which is relaxed, but really smart conversation, very practical stuff. But it's really funny, the themes that are coming out, Kally, since we've been talking to a very diverse collection of women. And it's so funny how much beliefs, mindset, leadership are some of the top themes. And I did not expect that. I expected it to be finance, marketing, approach, systems. I didn't expect it to go where it went. And I just finding it so fascinating. Especially what you said there about forget about the content, figure out the money conversation first, then we can get on to content. I mean, that's extraordinary, really, what you said there. And just when I was looking at your rules for business, I was going, well, I wonder what's the story behind that particular rule. So you've got a couple that I picked out. What was it? You said pay attention. That was one. I thought interesting. You also said, show people the results, sell the execution. That's really what you're saying about future pacing, right?
Yes, but it goes a lot more into what I said about the authority, the positioning, how is the signature video design, and it goes more into the detail of the steps. So I'm going more into the actionable process and the steps that we take with each person, like how do they give the insights without giving too much, without going into I should just give value to people, because you will get audience friend zoned and you don't want to do that. You want to make sales, and it's okay to make sales. Again, I will have to remind people that probably a million times, that it's okay to sell. You have to give people the insight just to pull them into your world, into buying your products and services. But you do that because you want to serve them, you want to improve their life, and you can help the right people. Like, don't just be unethical or whatever. I'm not saying that.
Can I ask you, it's really important this is, because women that I've worked with, and I've done it myself, we're so generous. We're like, yep, here it all is, we roll it out. Give us some distinctions on that, like that friend zone, that giving too much versus giving enough to really share. And then, like, for me, it's like there's a paywall. There is a paywall here if you want to work with me. So obviously taking your point, Aliya, around the message you picked up from the rules of business. Tell us what you know on that. Like don't mess around, Kally.
I will give you my own example. Yeah, given what people have heard me say about YouTube and the insights that I have given about YouTube.
Yeah.
I have told you why it matters and what you have to do, but to do the how, come to me. I can guide you. So this is the example that I am not holding back, but the how, like I won't say about the specific steps that I take, like in the more granular, in the more specific, in the more deep dives. I won't say that to a podcast or to free content, but I will give enough insights, not overload people with insights, but give enough insights that make people think, oh, she knows her shit. She knows what she's talking about.
Brilliant.
She has deep dived into that. She has experience. She can see the patterns. And I love the pay attention you mentioned to me. If you want me to expand on why I picked this. So this is not business related. Actually, it started from my personal life in general, and then it went into generalizing also into business. So years ago, I heard someone say that give people enough rope and they will hang themselves. So what does this mean? Again, really brutal, really controversial. People don't want to hear such phrases. I have, when I meet new people in any setting, and I start to ask them questions, not just, the surface level questions or the chit chatting or the breaking the ice questions. Slowly we start to get into deeper questions, and I do that, with the way that I question, or with my tonality, with my energy, my cadence, and everything. I make them feel okay to open up. And again, this has to have great boundaries, but I'm very specific and very intentional, and people just open up. Like, it's unbelievably, like, it's crazy to me how much people open up to strangers, to me, or to anyone. Like, you don't know if I use that against you, or what I would think about you when you tell me XYZ. And again, another person that I have worked said at one point, you have to see why people tell you certain things and what do they want you to feel about them. So this also ties into the same of, I pay attention into what people say. And so many people, I'm like, I think I should give you marketing class of, how to present yourself in a good way, not hide your flaws, but you don't have to air your dirty laundry to a stranger who you don't know if you can trust. Like, I have good intentions, like, I'm not doing anything, but it tells me so much when people don't have awareness into what they're saying and the picture that they are giving of themselves. It's not the best self always. Like, people can slip up and they're not aware of that. And I'm like, do I say something on that? Maybe I will poke something with a question again, because I don't want to be, just critical or just judgmental. No. But it's more like, what people give out about themselves. And and they give also the traits, how they treat life, how their general mindset, their paradigms, their limiting beliefs. I have so many people that have told me, like, in detail, scarcity, limiting beliefs around money, around business, around if they believe they're enough, if they have low self-esteem, or if they have high self-esteem. I can tell you so many things about that I'm like, pay attention, especially in today's world. Like, I think that's one of my competitive advantages, really, to pay attention into understanding people, into seeing the patterns of how each person interacts with the world, what they want to do. And like, my work really depends on me noticing little things, not just the bigger things. Again, into noticing patterns, into seeing, okay, this is outlier because XYZ. If I didn't pay attention, I wouldn't be where I am right now in business and in life, but especially in business, because people will listen to this more as a business conversation. You have to pay attention, because we are so distracted. So like, so many people can't focus. Yeah, if you have scrolling on TikTok, if you have all the bombarding of distraction, how can you focus? It's designed to do that to your mind. So put the blinders, be careful.
I'm interested to know. We've just had on Emma Kakos, thank you, because she changed her name. And she talked about the field that she's in now is in nutrition, and she's a world expert, really, incredibly clever and accomplished in that field. But she actually was exposed to it when she was 9. I just find it fascinating to take people back to, when was the moment where you went, paying attention, that's cool, it works, that's important. Like, when was that for you?
I would say it's kind of long ago, but not too long ago. It started with when I was a YouTube script writer, and I started seeing, I was working with a stand-up comedian who he had already an established YouTube career, but again, he started delegating to people, like, other parts of his YouTube, so that he could put more content, or so that he could have more free time, because the person was like 40 and he didn't want to burn out and hustle like he was doing a decade earlier. So we started doing a specific business series, and we were talking about, we took a concept from different countries, especially from like American creators, and we brought that into Greek content, Greek videos, and we found again he knew his signature, he knew how his energy like presented to people, what people love about his videos. He doubled down into that. And when I started seeing, okay, our videos have these metrics, and people are saying to us in the comments, in the DMs, in the stories that they post with their watching our video or shout outing our video. And later on, we got into schools, and that wasn't the original plan. We got into schools without promoting, without paying the students. Schools, high schools, even 1-2 universities. They showed one of the videos that we made with this specific series, and we said, oh, okay, we have to be serious on the quality of the content that we put out. Of course, we knew that beforehand, and we knew that it was a more family friendly kind of series. But we were, when I was seeing the metrics and everything and the messaging from people, I was like, okay, this is nothing random. And I started dissecting again. This creator was like, okay, his branding is XYZ. He's brutally raw. He's raw to a fault. And this upsets people, but this creates the people love me or hate me, no in between. And I think also Oscar Wilde said that, or was it Shakespeare, that you have to love me or hate me. Both are in my favor. I'm always in your mind. So that's why also Jordan Peterson, again, I know I like him. I don't agree with everything, but again, creators who are creating people who either love them for what they are saying and what they are presenting to the world, the insights, the energy, what they are what they are contributing to the world. And for the exact same reasons, you have other people who hate you, but this is not something you have to fear. You have to get to that point. Like, if you really want to get to big levels of fame, popularity, or big levels of income, it comes with the territory. You will have judgment. You will have people. Some people are even shooing. And Peterson, like, he lost his place in the university. He was a professor. He lost it for his opinions and stuff like that. Like, it can get really dire sometimes. I'm not a proponent of that, but you have to pick your battles and see that, okay, the overall image, the general thing that I am contributing to the world and helping the world, I have to take some swings. I have to do the thing, even get a lawyer or something after some point. And yeah.
Well, Kally, we're actually at the end of our time, and I think I could have carried on for at least another hour. It's been fascinating looking at the world through your eyes, actually. Yeah. Where do people find you?
Since I have deleted most of my social media, besides LinkedIn and YouTube, people can find me on LinkedIn with my name, Kali Kolonacki. They can also find me. I have an email and I have a WhatsApp for my clients and Slack. But people can find me on LinkedIn, and I have my own YouTube channel that it's in the works. Like, I will be uploading in the next week and starting my own pre-production, post-production, everything. So they can also find with my name on the YouTube channel that will be very soon out. And these are the places that they can find me. So again, I was putting the blinders, and I was like, no, anything else is just noise. Yeah. So I have picked 2 platforms, and we go into this.
We have a fun question that we ask everybody. Do you want to ask it, Kelly?
Yeah, I'd love to. So if you were to write a great big huge post-it note to female founders looking to grow their businesses, what would you put on it and why?
I would say money is your biggest unlocker into the life that you want. So I think that contributes, and it encapsulates the mindset around money, the energy that we have around selling, around promoting our business to the right people, to what we are doing. So for me, like, that's my number one. That, again, why I have an energy mentor, why I have worked on that myself, because for me, you have to do that kind of work. not just healing in other, like the other wounds or traumas or anything else. Money is important. Like if you want to be successful in business and to sell more and to scale, you have to be okay with that. And be proud of that.
Yeah, I love it. Money is the biggest unblocker for you and your success. That's really clear.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kally.
Thank you so much,
so
Kally.
good. And we'll
We've
definitely
really enjoyed it. I think we will be speaking again in the future.
Connect, see you
honestly.
again. I can't wait to like properly come and find you now as a person out there in the universe. Thank you so much for today.
Yeah. So
thank you.
Thank you.